Okay, so this is just an example of internet mind control or internet human mind emotional control, because human beings, as you would probably, if you really think about it, and I mean really think about it, I don't mean, because when you say mind control, it sounds impressive and sounds as though someone is trying to, take over your information, and in other words, giving you false information so that you think something wrong. This, of course, is also the reality of the world stage performers, but it's also about world stage performers and internet performers, and even negative, controlling, psychopathic people in your life also can mind controlling you through controlling your emotions, because human beings are much more controlled by their emotion than even by the mind control information they receive. In other words, if you could receive information about something that's not particularly personal, and therefore you're not affected emotionally, so therefore it has less mind control over you. That's just, there's nothing unusual about understanding that, but most of the time I don't know when I'm being mind controlled emotionally, because it happens quickly, it's happening all the time, it's continual, and you can't notice as a human being, you can't focus on every little thing. So a lot of mind control slips in what they call subconsciously, in other words, subliminally. That means just without you noticing, but you're still seeing it, you're still hearing it around you, but you don't take any notice of it. In fact, most of my life, most of what's around me, I wouldn't have took in. So therefore I am, unconsciously being mind controlled, but I'm not aware of it, because that's true. Particularly, well, most of the time, but particularly when you are not even remotely aware of people trying to control you deliberately, shall we say. Because you assume that even if you're aware that people are no good for you, that they're not consciously doing it, that it's not a total human mind control program, if you follow me. All I'm going to show is that a computer system, you should know, but we don't, because we think that we have control over it and we think that it's there for our benefit. But a computer system, you should realise, is not like even humans around you, or even world stage players, or even your demigods of the earth. Demigods of the earth simply means your world stage well-known, famous, or people that you know of, that are not actually in your personal life, but they influence you and you are aware of them. It can be just anything that you focus on, really. Everyone has their own hobbies and their own interests and their own domain that you focus on. So that's the area where the matrix will focus on controlling you, usually. Because there's no point in trying to control me through things that have no emotional value for me. If I'm not interested in world stage performers in a particular area, that's not the area they're going to target my emotions in. So it has to be like, say, if I'm interested in the movie and music idols, then it has to be through those beings, or it has to be through things that I personally have an emotional affiliation with. Yes, and I like to use the fancy words because I have to compete with the demigods, so they use the word salads, they use words to seduce the masses. So I have to come up with the impressive intellectual words too. Okay, so that's why I do that, because you can't talk just normal. But either way, words do, if someone understands the meaning of, say, a word like affiliation or pseudo or any word, any intellectual type word, in other words, something that's not very common. Different people use different words. Those that like to be a little bit more intellectual or who just have come into contact with more complicated words would use those words. But you assume that if two people understand the meaning of a more complicated or more bigger word, shall we say, then you would use that because it simplifies the conversation. It makes it easier to understand what you're saying. Like I might say a false person, a more intellectual might say a pseudo person, a pseudo idea, a false idea, false information, pseudo information, that which is not really the truth. Something which is pretending to be something it isn't. In this real world, that is the case with almost everything that is around you, because human beings are the target of the android artificial intelligent God's matrix. If you don't believe in gods or even the powers that be controlling Earth, then what I'm saying doesn't mean anything, and you're not going to believe it. But I don't really understand how you can't believe that at least the Earth is controlled by powerful beings or powerful human beings. Whether you think that they get their directions from a god or from the artificial intelligent computer system that controls Earth is up to you. But of course it's all one and the same thing, because once again we're just using words. I could say the word God, but the God is the artificial intelligent computer network Earth system, because that is very much the controlling power now. In other words, the powers that be, those that control Earth, use different things at different times. Because we're now in the computer generated reality, human beings have even less control over your surroundings, or your world, in other words. You really don't understand how much around you is being controlled, how much is pseudo, staged, set up and false, okay? You live in a false reality. You live in a false environment, wherever you are, whoever you are. I don't care if you think you're in the outback, where you probably feel a lot more free than what you do, like I am, in a total computer-generated city system, where you cannot look anywhere without being totally mind-controlled by what's around you. Only when you're aware of it, but also it depends on how much they want you to be aware of it. If you become aware of some aspects of this artificial reality, then they will not hesitate to show you the full force of their artificial intelligent human mind control program that's really around you. That's the only difference. That's the difference between what they call targeted human individuals and those that are watched but not actually openly targeted to you. That's the only difference, but I don't think I'm explaining this. I'm just going to, just very quickly, while I have peace and quiet, which I don't have very much, to show how they, even though I'm fully aware of it, they still bring you down, because I still have human feelings. So they will hit you with personal information. if they think that you're thinking about someone, they will try to confuse your mind and make you think that the person that you are interested in, or that you focus your feelings on, they will hit you with negative information about that person, whether it be through the tarots or through spiritual readings on the internet. It doesn't matter, because it's all by the God of Earth, I would imagine. Now, some people might differ from me and say that, yes, this is an artificial intelligent computer system, but surely there are some good gods that come on there. Well, that's open to debate. I just ruined that. I actually accidentally pressed the wrong thing. So I don't think I can actually show now. See, I've actually gone on to the spiritual readings.
This is a secret.
See how it's mind manipulating me, trying to tell me that some people are thinking this or saying this about me. Maybe it could be on the other side of the world even, but that's just human manipulation, human emotional manipulation. And now I cannot... see, supposing you had someone you were thinking about, so they mind control you by saying that someone that you might be thinking about is, not, over, and also, see, I like cats. I have a very strong liking for cats. So look what they do. I didn't put these things up there. They know I'm interested in cats. See? Can you see what they do? Because I like to watch the funny cute cat videos. Not these ones, but they will put these up as well. And then they will sidetrack you with seducing you with the past glamour movie gods and goddesses, because they might think that... And yes, see? But this is what they do to you and me. They've got a camera on you, and they'll show you, and they're watching my social network, or everything I do, every person you talk to. You could just fleetingly look at someone on the street and they will be sensing your reactions to that person. This is what they do to a human being. They put a camera on you, and they think that you are there to serve them. And they even do it to animals, because look, this just come up. Put a camera on a cat and show you the complex social network of cats. Even the poor cat can't just wander around as a cat. Like, who would be interested in everywhere a cat goes? But they do that with human beings, because they need that, because they need to understand and imitate being a real human. See, so there you have it. Am I showing that? See? Camera on a cat. So the cat even doesn't have any actual completely sacred life of its own, and neither do I, and neither do you if you're a human being. That's what they do. And they tell you that. I'm just showing how they try to control your emotions even on the computer system, and around you, everywhere. Your real reality around you, and the computer. Complete human mind control. And I don't care who or what you're looking at, that's what it's all about. You'll get very little that is real, and even that which is uplifting or what you think is a benefit to you. If you go to a psychologist online, you will be dealing with disguised psychopaths, because most of the intellectual and advanced thinkers, those that understand, are from the dark side. Because as you can imagine, Lucifer's disciples understand everything and anything that's going on. Human beings are not in connection with their light side. Human beings are not in connection with their creator. But the dark ones know everything about your light side and about your creator, but they are working for and are disciples for the dark side. In other words, if you go to a spiritual person or a spiritual prophet or a spiritual person or a philosopher or anyone that appears to be telling you some truthful information that you think enlightens your life and helps you, that is because the dark side knows more about you, because they have a camera on you, than the light side. There is no light side in Earth. The Earth matrix is controlled by the dark god. The dark god creates the android species, the android beings. The dark one controls the psychopathic mind, and the psychopathic beings operate for the dark god. They may or may not be conscious of this, because many of them agree to work unconsciously, because it gives them the benefit of the reality that if you believe your own lies, as the psychopathic psychologists and informants will tell you, then you are a lot more convincing in your performance while you are playing with the humans, because it's very hard for an android to pretend to be a real human. But it's not hard if they spend their entire lives and every waking moment connected to the human mind through the transhuman, artificial intelligent human connection, human to brain connection, but also the reality that they've got a camera on you and they spend their lives watching you. Yes, they live out your life too, because they will imitate what you do, but that's merely as a camouflage so that they can infiltrate the earth, mingle amongst the human beings and basically take over the reality, which they have. Am I explaining this well? I don't think so, so I'll finish.